Mathematics Ultimate Strategy Guide for Prince level players. Here we are, turn 238, and we are approximately 4 turns from a cultural victory. This happened much earlier than I would have predicted when I first started the game. My goal was to do it by, say, turn 275, but it looks like we'll be able to accomplish it by turn 242. So that's a good thing. And the reason why it's happening so much earlier than I predicted was simply because we started developing tourism early by getting the Parthenon. That 2 points per turn early in the game has a very dramatic effect because it is so early in the game. If you don't get the Parthenon, then you essentially have to wait for, you can still start doing it with the amphitheater in the Writers Guild, but what you end up having to do is, instead of just building the Parthenon and getting those 2 points per turn immediately upon completing the Parthenon, what you would have to do is research drama and poetry, which you would have to do anyway, get the Writers Guild, and build an amphitheater. So you have to build both of these, and then start, assign your citizens to work the Writers Guild, and then start your progress towards a great writer. So by the time you do all of that, you would be much later in the game, another 20, 30, 40 turns beyond what you could do with the Parthenon. That 20, 30, 40 turns would make a big difference. We also, we got pretty much every wonder that we wanted. We got the Leaning Tower of Pisa, we got the Globe Theater, we got the Sistine Chapel, we got the Louvre. We built museums, got our architects, archaeologists out there, and got some archaeological digs. We got hotels, we got airports. The next step is the National Visitor Center. I'm not even going to get to the point to where I can complete the National Visitor Center or the internet. So, this is all happening much faster than what it normally would in your average game, because most of the time you're not going to get every single thing you want. But I want to draw your attention to this. This is what's happened in quite a few of my previous games where I've attempted cultural victories. We get about to this point and things start switching from the World Congress to the United Nations, and as far as diplomatic victories are concerned, this is the danger zone. This is where things start to happen. So actually it doesn't look like this is the vote that I'm concerned of. I thought it was, but it's not. So scholars in residence, increasing great science and engineering merchants by 33%. Oh, somebody wants to repeal, Ottomans want to repeal the sciences funding. So we're just going to vote yay on this with all of our delegates. I'm just going to build a hospital there to help ACAD grow a little bit more. It really doesn't matter at this point in the game. The game's going to be over before any of that stuff really has any major effect. I'm just going to send him to Tokyo.
Gelin
Open
pazarlığa
borders,
tutuşalım.
sure, you
Hoşunuz.
can have open borders. That benefits me more than it benefits you anyway. Alright, sciences funding fails. And scholars and residents passed. And alright, so what do we propose here? We'll be angry. What I've been doing is trying to find resolutions that other civilizations would be happy about. Angry, angry, angry. So, I'm not really seeing anything that people would be happy with. Let's do, I've actually forgotten what my ideology is. Isn't that brilliant? Freedom. So, I guess we're going to try to propose freedom as a world ideology. I didn't really see any ideal thing to propose there, so I just went with that. It doesn't really matter if I make anybody angry at this point.
Gelin pazarlığa tutuşalım.
Sure, we like
Hoşunuza
that
gider.
trade. Oh, it's time I told the world of your sins. Very well. Rome has denounced us. Suits our interest quite nicely. You have our sincere gratitude. Cities we all like to visit. Okay, so now Babylon is ahead of Akkad, which is what I would think would be the case.
The more we elaborate our meaning.
For tomorrow belongs.
Alright, okay, so here it is. The World Congress becomes the United Nations. The world has entered the atomic era either because half the civilizations have received it or one civilization has reached the era beyond it. So this makes the diplomatic victory possible. So we get 6 votes in that. Choose production. And bomb shelter, sure. Adopt policy. We'll go to ideology. Let's add a tenant. And we'll get some happiness from that. Alright, so we're going to choose the host. So we have 8 delegates. Oh no, according to this, we're expected to get 8 delegate votes from 2 different civs. The Ottomans are expected to get 4, Japan 4, Rome 4. So that would mean Brazil is, according to this, Brazil is planning on voting for us. Brazil gets 4. Oh, according to this, yeah, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. See, I don't know why it's saying that 8, we're expected to get 8 delegates from 2 civs. Songhai. Oh, Songhai and Brazil, according to this, are planning on voting for us. Right? So, we go along with that. And we commit to delegates, are you sure? Got a technology boost. Got another spy. So he's unassigned. We'll just go ahead and I don't really know. Assign him as a diplomat, I guess. Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't have a diplomat in Brazil already. Alright, so we go to next turn. Choose archaeology. Yeah, I know it was. It was a blatant attack on his civilization, yes. Yes, you have that exactly right. Babylon, oh. Now that's an unexpected expectation. I did not expect, because what's been happening in the previous votes, even though they must be doing some fighting here. Even though sometimes it's when that host thing comes up, it looks like everybody's voting for themselves, but after the vote, they vote for another AI civ. So I think what happened in this one is because I voted for things that other civilizations wanted, they went ahead and decided to elect me as the leader again. So what you propose apparently makes a huge difference, right? So that's one way, I guess, to stave off the diplomatic victory, at least in this situation, because I don't have city-states, in this game. Now, if there were city-states, what would probably have happened is once maybe Rome would have predicted, that he wasn't going to win the game, and so he would have started getting alliances with all the different city-states, giving himself more votes in the United Nations. And I don't like, to be honest with you, I really don't like how it's set up, because even though I have eliminated all of the city-states to try to prevent a diplomatic victory, had I not made the correct proposal choices, what would have happened is the other AIs would have band together and elected, say the Ottomans as the world leader, and voila, the Ottomans win the game. Even though I've dominated this entire game, and what's going to happen here, had I not had my culture and tourism as high as I've had it, I've invested all of this time developing my culture and my tourism, and let's say I was set up to win a culture victory on, say, 275. Well, there's 13 turns for this United Nation, for this world leader proposal to be passed, right? There's only 13 turns left. So the game, regardless, looks to me as if it would be over in 13 turns, and I would be declared the winner by means of diplomacy. Well, that's great that I would win, but it's not satisfying to me to win via diplomacy when I put all this effort into trying to win a cultural victory. So I don't want to win a diplomatic victory. I think it's cheesy to be able to win that way. I think that, I I just kind of wish that it was a little more, this diplomatic victory would come into play just a little bit later in the game. You would have to advance further before the diplomatic victory becomes relevant. So to be honest with you, I think from now on, at least until I decide I want to put more effort into diplomacy, but right now I'm just trying to figure out the culture, the culture in tourism. So the idea that I can lose the game so easily because of one vote in the United Nations is a little frustrating. So let's just go ahead and progress the turns. I think it's turn 242. Yeah, Augustus is plundering my
You have
trade routes.
achieved
But
victories.
see, it
with
doesn't
the
matter.
awesome
I
power
won.
of your culture. Your civilization's greatness, the magnificence of its monuments, and the power of its artists has astounded the world. Poets
think
will
that's,
honor you for as long as beauty brings
That covers
gladness
it.
to a weary
That's
heart.
how you win a cultural victory. That's what tourism can do for you. Just to recap a few things, you're not just building tourism if you're going for a cultural victory. You are building tourism to counter the negative effects that you can possibly have due to having a lack of tourism. So with that being said, that concludes this series. I hope I was able to teach you the things you need to learn in a comprehensive way so it's easy to understand and you don't have to watch 6 hours of videos to get it. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you back.